Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here and you've just stumbled along my channel because you're watching all the end of 2021, beginning of 2022 planner videos, thanks for stopping in. If you could, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. That would be really nice of you. And if you find value in this or you have any comments or questions, please drop them below in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And so let's just get started. These are the planners that I used for 2021. This is my master planner. I put it together based on my needs every year. Well, I have been doing that for the last, I started planning at the beginning of 2017, and by planning I mean with Instagram and YouTube and the whole universe. I've been using planners and date books and journals really since I was a senior in high school. But as for, you know, this craft hobby funness since then, and I've done a lot of experimenting. I'm still experimenting. And just through that process is where I came to decide for myself that I wanted my master planner to be really personalized for me. Because I was trying all kinds of systems, and every video or person I followed had fantastic systems, and it was working great for them. But it was just, you know, it takes a while to find your place and fit things in. So that is what this is. And then I used so this is a letter size, just full letter size. This is my B6 Stalogy, which I've been using kind of as a bullet journal / creative memory keeping planner hobby outlet for a couple of years, and I really like that. And then my personal rings, which acts more of like a reference for me. I was actively planning out of it, and depending on the season of my life during the year, I might use this more or less. And then I also did have kind of over here my Hobonichi Weeks, which is another kind of creative outlet, but I was keeping it to track my fitness, and it kind of evolved as the year went on, but I digress. We'll get back to that in a minute. Because I thought I'd start here. So I'm just gonna jump in, and I have a couple of goals for this video. Got a post-it note. Let me pull it out. First, I want to talk about what worked in 2021 for me, what I'm planning on keeping in my system, and what I'm planning on changing, and if I'm planning to add anything. And I've sort of already been doing my yearly review. I still have more that I will do this weekend. I have kind of an annual goals summit for each year where I set up for my year, and I do that with my daughter. And we just kind of make sure that we're on the same page with the direction we're going, because I help her with her nonprofit. And so I'm kind of like a behind the scenes person. And so that means I have to have my stuff in order to know how I can be there with her things. So we have that this weekend. So we'll be doing that as that's our New Year's Eve thing. Instead of setting resolutions, for years we have done goal setting for New Year's and vision boards and that kind of thing. So it's just kind of evolved into what we call now our summit. Anyway, so that'll be this weekend. So I'm just kind of firming up my personal and my business things going into that. So I do know things will probably change after this video at some point. So I will, after the summit, and we kind of solidify that last little bit, maybe I'll come back and do another video. If you're interested, just drop a comment below. That would help me know if it's worth doing it. Mind you though, I always think it's worth making these videos because it just helps me process by talking to you here and just kind of going through it. Just another way for me to kind of think out loud what I'm doing. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I do have a couple of other video ideas because this will be way too long. I also want to show you my 2022 setup, and then specifically what my goals are, and my plan of action working towards them, but that video specifically will have to be after my summit. I do have some Post-it notes and a pencil because I like writing in pencil. It's probably the academic in me and all the years of school. I just love pencils. I do have pens, but I write in pencil, and also because I make mistakes and I like to erase. So I have that. This gets well loved. So I think my first one I set up in either July of 2017 or July of 2018. It was probably 2018 because 2017 is when I kind of entered the planner community here on YouTube and internet and Instagram and Facebook and that kind of thing. And so I spent the kind of that first year working, trying a lot of things. And by the second year, I knew that I needed to really design something that worked for me. And by design, I mean, some of these I have designed, some of them are inserts that I've gotten. So I'll tell you about those as I go. But, so I just set it up. It's really easy. This is literally, this is one of those plastic, you know, school folder things that I cut the center off of. And I take, once I have all my files together and I put it all in one big document, I go to Kinko's, they print it out, they bind it, and they put my covers on. And I like this because I can put things in the pockets. And so that's what I do, really easy. I always have a title page. Sometimes I stick Post-it notes on it like a parking spot. Sometimes I don't. I call this a year of service because I'm a pageant coach and a director for our community pageant. And so I work with the title holders throughout the year, and we call that a year of service because they are doing community service, and I like that. So we call it a year of service. And then I do have this overview, and I think this is from Filofaxy. I rarely looked at this, and I'm trying to think. I think I printed one out for this year. I sometimes flip to it, but it's not very often. But it's still nice to have here. Just a quick overview. And then the very next page is where I start to draft out my goals. So you can see annual, quarterly, monthly, and then weekly. And so this is not all of what happens in a year. This was just like a draft because I only have one what is this, worksheet. And as you could see, the way it's set up, it would be for like one kind of goal. And I have multiple. And sometimes I break them down, but this was just an overview for kind of one goal. But then I use this out loud. Well, English words. I use this format for multiple things, and I print out new ones. So it's kind of a placeholder. It's kind of a rough draft thing, and I come back to it. And a lot of this is stuff that's a rotating basis, an annual basis that I have to remember for each year. And then if something drops off, then I remove it or I add a new one the next year. But a lot of these are things that I want to remember with the next year. So, and this is a whole video I could do. The idea for this outline came from Filofaxy. So I'm sure I'm going to reference his website a lot. So Steve Morton and Ray Blake. I was first introduced to that through, oh gracious, I don't know, Instagram probably. And I really appreciate the work that they do for the planner community. So many great resources. So if you've never checked it out, I highly recommend it. I cannot even recommend it enough. Like I could every single video, and I know I talk about it a lot, Filofaxy. So I'll leave the link here. And if I forget, it's PHILOFAXY.com. And they put out new calendars for each year. So for this year, I went to a one page, but they're just clean, plain, basic calendars that you can use. And I mix and match different files. But there's so many kinds that, and trackers and wonderful things. So that is where I got the idea for this. I actually created this specifically in Google Sheets, I believe. And it starts January and goes to December, but sometimes I start with July because that's usually when our pageant is, and it follows the school year. So this works out, but I've also been known to change the months if I'm just working on something like quarterly or half a year, and for a project with one of the girls or something, and we'll use this like pen to paper. This is our first stop, usually. So I did not use this. I did print out a new one for my 2022 setup. I didn't use it because I used very similar tracker in my Hobonichi for my health and wellness. But it was here as a placeholder. I think I wanted to track my workouts, but I sustained an injury at the beginning of the year and was in physical therapy. I just had my last physical therapy appointment. So we're going to try again. Got a new Apple Watch because my other one had broke. So far, I think we're off to a good start, and I do plan to use my my overview. What is this called? It's an annual tracker, I think. Again, this specific one, did this specific one come from Filofaxy? Or did I make this one? Looks like this one came from Filofaxy, the one in my new year I made. But yeah, this is one that you can download. All of the files on there are free to use. You can't sell them, so I don't. I use them personally, or I use them with my girls. I think it's called Creative Commons is the license on that, so you can use it, you can't share it, or you can't sell it. And he does have source files up there so that if you want to personalize them that way, I just don't know how to do that. So what he has, I use, and it works great. The next thing was, well, here, let's go to one that's just blank so you can. The next set, and I've got several of these in here, are project planners for mapping out each individual project. So I would identify based on the goals here, the projects that need to be done, and then I could break them out this way. Again, this came from Filofaxy as far as the outline. I've altered it slightly, his design, but it's the same concept. I maybe changed some font, but it's pretty much exactly because it works so well for me. But this is where I will list out what the project is that we're working on, the deadline, what it is, any contacts related to this project, or as I gain contacts throughout the life of the project, and then tasks that need to be done. And this is the master task list for this. And so I really was impacted greatly by David Allen's Getting Things Done. So here's my well-loved, dog-eared, tabbed copy. And this, I've done project planning and for different nonprofits that I've been a part of. And it was a different system, and it worked for what we were doing. But as far as applying it to my personal life, I had never done that before entering the planner community. And so I used a planner, I used notebooks, but I didn't have the same kind of structure that I do now. And I really attribute that to this book that was life-changing for me. And also Filofaxy's guidance with the types of, and I say Filofaxy as if it's a person. Filofaxy is a website. There's a whole host of people that help keep it going. So please go show them some love. Specifically, Steve Morton. You can find him at filofaxy.com, Mr. Filofaxy on Instagram. I think on YouTube it might be Steve Morton. It could be Filofaxy. I don't know. I'll try to make sure that I list that below here. But it just makes it so easy to realize, what do I need and then just browse in their files and look for things, try things out. If it doesn't work, it's fine. Try another one. And after a while, you start to find things that work for you. And so this format has really worked for me as far as I have my project here, my resources, or my basic information that I need at a glance with it, and then my running task list. So I have several of these in here, several pages that I put in here, and I didn't use them all because a lot of times I'm pretty proficient with this system now that I will use a notebook. Anything that I have, I'll use Post-it notes. Whatever I have on hand to like draft out the idea. And then a lot of times it does go into my computer, and so they're digital files. But when I want to just draft them out, this is perfect. So I have included 12 pages for this next year. So I think I only had like, you know, a handful. Maybe I had like 10 in here, if that, for this year, because I wasn't really planning a lot of projects, just some big ones. And so that's what I did here, and I am keeping these. I'm keeping these for the next one because it works for me. And then the next thing I set up is an annual tracker. Again, I got this idea from Filofaxy, and I think even I print out their personal size Filofaxy. This is the one I created for myself just because I wanted it to fit in this format. I'm going to have 2 pages here, but let's see if I have one in here. I've already cleaned this out mostly from 21, and I've started putting in my 22. Well, okay, let's see. 22 inserts. So, no, that's not it. Well, I might have already moved it into my, okay, here we go. I did move the one I was using. I have my archive cover, but this is the one I'm using. So I've already started setting it up, but as you can see, it is the exact same kind of thing. And this is a Filofaxy that I just downloaded. And here I'm using this for kind of like when did I last, you know, well, update my budget and pay my bills. I do that every month. But, you know, if I pay my post office box, that's an annual thing. My safe deposit box, annual thing. But it's just to make sure that I did these. Some of them are monthly. And so I'll just check it off as I go. And this is a part of my monthly routine. So this is for my personal, you know, my personal household things to do. The reason why I created this one was for work. If it was work things that I wanted to track, I did not use it, as you can see, because what I found was I was just, so the one from last year, I was just putting the things that I needed to on that one. I didn't separate them, and I do want to kind of do that this year. So I did include this 2-page spread again in my new one. I am keeping this, but I just have the 2 pages because this is a lot of room. And my thought was I would do personal here and professional here when I put this one, but then I ended up putting my personal in this. Then I didn't do it. I think I still might because I keep these for tax purposes. I'm self-employed, so this is just a perfect, I reference everything. I just come back to it for work. Obviously, I don't need all my personal stuff in here, but you know, when you work for yourself, there's a lot of overlap, right? So that was the thought behind that. I've kept this, and I will be trying to be more intentional about using this for work, this for household. We'll see how it goes. Then I did have a weekly tracker. So just a couple of things that I wanted to track every week. And I also had it in here. And so I tracked it in here. And I didn't use this at all. But I want to. And we'll see. One of the things that I was weekly tracking, I no longer have to do that. So we'll see. I have included them because I do want to do this again. And it would just be for like, not planning things. They're more like once a week things that I want to do for the whole year, like a big goal thing. This is my list of things that I do yearly. So my annual goal summit, that's coming up this weekend. And that's at the top, because even though this is the outline, the actual information, you know, gets updated every year. The guts to everything, you know. So this is the outline. These are the things that I do every year, every month. So like the beginning of the month, preview, setup. At the end of the month, to the review. This would be my routine, my weekly, and then my daily. So this is here one. It's a reference. I could just open it up and look at it while I'm doing things. It's also a placekeeper, because as things change throughout the year, or if something changes, I can scratch it out. I can write down what I want to add for the next year. I also have these sectioned in my everyday carry. See, this is what I carried with me everywhere. And I don't know if I'm going to do that this year. We'll get to that. But in the meantime, what I did was I broke it down. So this is my monthly section. And so this is, well, let's start over. This was my yearly section, and I had an annual overview that I took out. And then this is what I would do each year at the beginning of the year. And then I would have my monthly section. And so I just printed out on one page here. So it's what I would do each month. And then my tracker for these things. And then the same thing like for my weekly, I would come back here. And really this is like the heart of this was the heart of this planner, because I would look at this really every day, because I used weeklies in here and not dailies. But this would be things that I wanted to set up for each week, track, review, using the GTD method. And so I did that. And then of course the daily, I printed them out on Post-its so that they would just be like my daily routine for the morning and the evening. And then if I wanted to actually look at it at the beginning of the year, it was more helpful because I was really focused on these habits in this routine. Now my routine is going to change a little bit, but not a lot. So I'll still keep that Post-it. Anyway, so that's what all this is here. And then I have just a note page here. Again, this is to remind me that I do this for my weekly review, monthly review, etc. That I'm going to do a brain dump with that. I've shared it before. I'm not really going to go into it on this video, but you can find it in one of my other videos. I'll try to remember to link it here. That I had some brain trauma and struggled with my memory for several years. And when I entered the planning community, it was because that's when I started working to remember and try to, I was working on my nerves, my brain, and all of that. So I need reminders, trigger lists, which this is kind of that for me. As far as when I actually write on, I'll use either my Stalogy kind of journal for notes. I'll just open a page and write in here, or I'll use a plain notebook if it's just, I have just like a, I just call it like a throwaway trash notebook that I just fill up with notes and daily thoughts and stuff that aren't necessary for long term, like memory keeping things, and I'll use that. And when I'm done, toss it. So the next thing, is that right? Yeah, is time blocking. And because I work for myself, I get to create my own schedule. So there's pros and cons for that. If you're not diligent with creating a schedule, then you are just at everybody else's mercy of their schedule, right? Before earlier in my adulthood, I used a planner, but it was so that I could be on time for everybody else's things. And so the difference now is I set my own things, and then I determine if someone needs me to do something, if that fits in my time. And if it doesn't, then we negotiate a different time that works for both of us. But I'm not always, you know, spinning my towels spinning my wheels, chasing my tail. I guess I was trying to put those two things together, to do things in a reactionary. So now I'm proactive. So this, I use time blocking. So I do put down my appointments, my meetings, my events, whatever. And then I divide my day up into the types of things that I want to do based on my routines and my energy. Got my whole science behind it. And then I look for the white spaces between when I've scheduled things. And that's when I work on getting things done. Like, that's when I move my projects forward. So like right now, I have some white space in my time, which is why I turn the camera on, because I don't do that a lot on me. Obviously, I do that for work, but anyway, so this is just a reminder. I can print one of these out multiple times throughout the year and update it. There's nothing that says I have to stick to the same schedule. Now, if you are someone who works a regular job with set hours, there are certain things you're not going to be able to change. Like, right, you're going to have to get up and go to work at this time and come home. And your weekly will look pretty much that way, and you'll have certain hours around that. But because my schedule is going to look different, sometimes week to week, but on a whole, I want to have what is ideal for me. So I want to spend the morning doing my morning routine and habits and things that I'm building, and then have a block of time for admin, the things that I do for work. And then I like personally to set my meetings, any meetings that I have with other people, in the afternoons, because that's when energetically I feel strongest to do that, to meet with other people. And then I have an evening block and then my evening routine. So I use this. I will fill mine out, I believe, this year at the summit. I didn't last year because it was really just a placeholder, and I just printed these out as I needed them throughout the year. And sometimes I didn't even have to print one out. I just use a spiral notebook. You know, that's the thing. Use what you have. You don't have to have fancy inserts. These help me be structured, because I've learned that that's my thought process and what I need. But while you're still learning and figuring out, notebook works great. So that's how I set up kind of this. And I haven't changed a whole lot of it. I know that I like it. It works for me as far as my system. I have these because I created most of these. And even the one up here that I said came from Filofaxy. This specifically was, I downloaded from that site, but this year I created my own. And it was because the only reason why I did is because he had source files, and I went in and I tried to update it with this year and follow his guidelines to how to do it, and I messed it all up and I didn't know how to do it. So I just created this as a spreadsheet in Google Sheets that I can just update each year. And it was simple for me to do, because I like it to go this way on the page, and as 2 pages, as opposed to, you know, one long page. So just because that works better for me. The rest of this, a lot of it are directly files that I downloaded from his site. So this is, before 2021, I did a month on 2 pages. So my previous calendars that are packed up, I think with my tax stuff, it would be like January month on 2 pages. I decided last year that I wanted to try a month on 1 page, because I felt like that was a lot of space and I could think of something to do here, which is, as you can see, what my thought was, that I would do a month on 1 page here, and then I could track a habit. So my goal was to track my health and fitness things. And then I hurt myself right here. Moving day, filming day, all the things. So that did not happen. So as the year went on, I looked to come up with some other things. But anyway, this is where I put, you know, all my appointments and things. It's my big picture. As soon as I get an appointment or an event, I'll just go straight to it, and it's like future planning for me. So that when the month comes, I just open up and go, okay, what do I need to know? And I go week by week. As I set up my week, and here, let's just go to, well, this isn't the same week, but if it were, let's see. Okay, so that's this week. So I look at this week, and I say, oh, these are the things I need to do. And then I set up my week with those couple of items. And then as the week goes on, I have my spaces that I fill out. And I like this. So this is staying. The month on one page, it worked for me. I liked it. It was just enough space. And I found I didn't need both of those. Now this, the monthly tracker. I didn't use it. In fact, I don't think I used it all year. I did not. I'm going to keep it because I want to try to use it. The only kind of monthly tracker that I used was in my everyday carry. And I have taken them out, I think, already, because it's to track my headaches. So I have migraines, and I would make a little like month at a glance calendar, and on the back side of it I would have a tracker, and it was on a post-it note. And let's see, I did make, so all this to say, let's see, where can I find it? So it was this kind of tracker. So this, instead of this, I used this, and I kept it in my everyday carry. And each month it would have the name of the month, and then a place for shocks, headache, or migraine. And so I get electric shock headaches. And I like to track when they occur together, the pattern, and then I put it all in an annual spreadsheet at the end of the year. And I do that for tracking for myself, but also information to share with my doctors. So that worked for me, and therefore I didn't use this. Well, my goal is to use this year, and not just to track headaches, because I like this so much. I am going to keep doing that in here, but some other habits, which I'm going to outline more fully during the summit. But my goal is, yes, to keep this. The next, I put another 1 month on one page, but it was blank. I left it blank. And I filled in the month. And then I filled in, so I use the same format for all the months. And here I put in content calendar things that were like National Day things. And mostly I use this for my daughter. So I help her with her nonprofit. I'm kind of a behind the scenes, more of a strategist person. She's the face, and she does most of it. But let's face it, no one can do everything. So I help her with strategizing. And here is where during our summit, we fill all this out for the whole year. And we look at all the different national days and things that she wants to highlight. Now, other things will come up in the year that she'll want to do. But we sit down and we map out what things do we want to focus on, what kind of content do we want to create for it. And this worked so well. This is staying. We're going to do it again next year. Now this page is what I used for me for work specifically, but I did think also it would be something that I could use with her content. I rarely did use it for that. I used it for my work. So I'm a freelance multimedia journalist, a reporter, and obviously I have different platforms that I share information to. And so these would be the stories that I was working on. Some months I didn't have too many. I had big ones. Some months I had a lot more things. And then this is just where the platform I went to, what I was doing. And that's what I did with it. As you can see down here is where I started putting some of her things. So mine was here, hers was here. I didn't use this every month just because it was digital. All this is done on the computer. And so I have record of it on my computer, but I liked it and I'm keeping it because it was a good little, like a reminder, kind of like a, where am I at in this process kind of thing. And then the next page, well, it's paper clipped, but I go to my weeklies. So my weeklies are, and these are from filofaxy.com under the calendar inserts. I'm not sure what that tab is called. I think it's called inserts, but I'm not sure. Just at the top, you'll see different links to click. And when you do, then you can see they're all listed by page type. So this was, I think it's listed as A5 or letter. I'm not sure, but this is letter size. And it was a week on 2 pages, and I loved this. I loved it. I've used this layout for several years. I love being able to fill in my times of what I did. And a lot of it, it's block. That's how I work. Not, I know some people are like every quarter hour, they want to keep track of it. I don't need that because it's, you know, not necessary for me. But I will put them here and I will block them out. If you see things like this, it's usually because I took some personal time. So, but this is good because I can go back, and this was for work. So I worked on this project, and this means I completed it. This means I submitted it to my editor for that. And then as the week goes on, this is what I just leave on my desk. I don't carry this with me usually. There may be a handful, and by handful I mean probably less than 5. If I take this with me, but out of the house, but it's pretty much on my desk. And as I'm working, I might write down some things that I need to do. And as you can see, it's not an action, a full, like, call this person. It's literally like a little trigger reminder. And then at the end of the week, I'll kind of use the bullet journal method of, did I do it? Do I need to move it forward or move it back? So that's it. And this worked good for me the whole year. We go to February, same thing. My monthly, didn't use. But my calendar here, I did use this side. Didn't use this one. But this works so good. I love this. I already know I have changed it up for next year. Just a little, not a lot. We're going to see how it goes. I'm hoping that I love it. I just downloaded a different format of, it's still a week on 2 pages. But instead of having, so this was every 30-minute blocks from 8 to 8. And obviously there wasn't room for notes. As you can see, I put my notes kind of here. What I wanted to try this year was, instead of 30-minute blocks, they're just 1-hour blocks, which I think is fine, because as you can see how I use it, I will just drag through the 1-hour blocks, but that's how I use it. And then like this, when there's a box, that's a project that I'm working on. And when I complete it, I X through it. The one I have this next year coming up, it's 1-hour blocks, and it's maybe 3/4 of the page. And then the bottom quarter under each day is a place for tasks. I think I'm going to like that better. So it still has a place for notes and coming up, which is usually where I put Post-it notes until I, you know, like I added it to my calendar probably. I did. So I left it there. This was probably just a reminder. Like I put these here so that during the week I remember. This was probably just sitting right here. From, you know, maybe I wrote this, it said save the date February 6th. So I might have written it like in January or even December of the previous year on this Post-it note, and I just slapped it in there. So yeah, that's how I use it. It's the same every week. Sometimes I still have Post-it notes in there, leave them in there. Sometimes I don't. Month after month, week after week. So this is the same. I use these little tabs, which I love, just to help me flip to them. And everything is the same all the way through. We're here in December now. I did put these on here because I'm thinking about using this for next year. Like this is the first instance of me doing it to highlight those dates. But here we are. And then the last content calendar, the last big project that I'm working on. I'm still working on it. So as you can see, it hasn't been submitted anywhere. Looks like this is going to get forwarded to, I'll still be working on it in January, which is fine. And lots of post-it notes for myself. We were traveling and out of town this week, so I didn't use that one. And last week, here we are this week. And because it's the week after Christmas, not a lot is happening. I've also started using my Hobonichi for this week, which I will add things into this one so that when I have it all together, I have everything up to the end of the year in here. Like I said, this will get used for my taxes to reference, cross-reference things, and then it gets filed away. And then in the last, I just added some more of these note pages just to fill it out, to make sure I ended on this back side of the page, but also just to give me a place to write notes. I didn't use it, but it was here in case I did. I think I included some in my file for this year, this coming year, just because I do want to try to use it a little bit more. I don't know that I put a whole lot in there. I think I just did it to round out to the whatever. Let's say I had 190 something pages, and I think I did it to go to 200 or something. And that's it. Here's the back page. And I I do keep this in a very old, like a faux leather, vinyl, something, big letter size portfolio, because it's a little harder. This is real floppy, which I love, but that keeps it a little more sturdy. And again, it just sits on my desk. Fold it up, move it out of the way, open it up as I need it. This really is the heart of my planner. This, or the heart of my planning system, is this planner. I take that information and I use it in here. Sometimes, most of the times, it's duplicated. And the reason is because it helps me with my memory and retention, but also it gives me an opportunity to do some more creative right brain planning, whereas that was all left brained. As you can see, it was all like list, word heavy, logic based. This bullet journal style, it's a Stalogy, is for being creative, just for trying new things, but also helping me with memory when I want to, with stickers. I love stickers. I love making stickers. I love buying stickers. I love, you know, using them. And it's more of just, it's my hobby. It's an outlet, trying new things, because when I try new things with my creative planning, that usually flows over into the rest of my life somehow. So, so the one I started with, which I didn't pull out, it's on my shelf, took me to May. So I set this one up, it started it in June. And I am not, it's only halfway full. So I have a quandary, which I think was my quandary last year, which is why I finished it in May and started in June, that I still have this much. Do I need to start with a new book? I don't think so, because I have all these pages and they still work great. And this is not something that needs to be like my master planner, since I use that with my taxes. I like to keep that and archive it year to year, like calendar year. This isn't for that. It's really just for fun. So I'm still, you know, it's the end of the year, beginning of the new year, start everything fresh kind of feeling. And everybody's pulling out their brand new setups and everything. So I partly want to do that, but for now, I'm not. I'm just going to keep using this because it still has all these great memories that I can flip to and look at. I don't use this in the same way that I use my master planner. I will use it for thinking differently. I do use this layout, which is similar to Hobonichi, and it's so that when I have this one, I can just open this up. I don't have to pull out another planner. And sometimes I did carry this with me. Sometimes my brain wanted to look at colors and stickers and dailies, which I don't use in that one. I don't use in these. If I want to do a daily, that's what I use this for. And so, and I can be as creative as I want. I can not use it if I don't want to. I can leave it blank if I want to. I can tip things in that feel important to me. Make all the stickers, all the lists. Yeah, so that's what this is. This is really, it does help me keep focused on tasks and things that I need to do, because sometimes this is what I use. But it's mostly just for fun. It's just for trying new things. I will keep this because it's also a little bit like a journal. I can write out things when I feel like it. I don't do it often because honestly, that's one of the habits that I don't have with journaling every day. One, because I would say I don't have the time. I don't make the time for it because I make time for other things. And there's only so much time in the day. No one can do everything. So sometimes I will go through seasons throughout the year. I'd say seasons. I have times, maybe a week or two, where I can spend a little more time each day in my planner. And then other times not. So that's that. Tried something different here. Broke up my dailies instead of one per page. I tried this and I really like this. I've done this quite a bit now through the rest of the year. But this is probably one of my favorite ways to look at an overview of the week. As you can see, this week I didn't do any days. I just did my weekly. Same here. So this must have been October. I was pretty busy in October. So this was really pretty much a way for me to have a creative planning time. And we are, I guess I didn't think I was going to be doing full flip throughs, but yeah, that's what we're doing here. I can play with color. Obviously a little more fall feeling. And let's see. This is turmeric, right? I think, pretty sure, yes, this is, I was learning more about turmeric because turmeric helps with inflammation. So I just wanted to put this in as a reminder that that's what I was doing, making turmeric teas, adding turmeric to more of my nutrition to help with that. So it's, you know, isn't always fun to go through here and just kind of be reminded of what was going on at that time during the year. So here, this was a moon calendar that I just printed out. I usually, when I put stickers or inserts, it's at that time. I don't usually go back and tip things in after the fact. And this was because I've started noticing, and so it was probably in October when I noticed it, that on the nights of full moon, I can't sleep. I don't even know it's the full moon till the next day. And I'm like, oh, that made sense. I had never paid attention before because I have nights where sometimes I can't sleep as well. But the last 3 months on full moons, I know, because that's when I started tracking it, that I didn't sleep. And so I was talking to my doctor about it, and she was like, you know what? Why don't you track that and see? So I printed this out, and I thought, do I want to add this to my 2022 system? And I think I do, but there was a lot of ink. So I went looking for another style. I like this one, but, you know, a different kind of moon calendar thing. And I have it. I just think I haven't printed it out. I got it off of Etsy from someone. I'll need to go find it. But my goal in 2022 is to track the phases of the moon with my headaches. Like, I get a spike during the month, and honestly, it's just something I never looked to if there was a correlation, but now I am. So that was the reminder, because you know what? I almost forgot about that. So good thing that was in there. Thanks for letting me talk that out. Notes and a weekly. Sometimes I have lots of Post-its because I will just sit here I've got several different, and I'll just write things down. And here we are, December. It was my birthday, the end of November. I've got that there. And we are in December. So sometimes I keep a running list here. Ooh, let's do that. This got moved back there, and that got did. Yeah. So this was when we left to go to New York. That was this week. We were in New York. So I didn't use this. In fact, I think I set this up before I left, and then I added this stuff when I got back. Yes, that is what I did. And then last week, and this week, right? Annual Summit is on Friday. We're here. I use these stickers, which if I could remember where I got them, it was probably on Etsy, so I could probably go back on my orders. I love these little stickers. So I use them to just visually be able to reference real quick when I had headaches, if they were migraines, regular, or like electric shocks. And they're so cute, but I went to cut them out, and my printer was not lining up or cutting things right. And so I just said, you know what, I'll just tape the whole thing down in here. So that's what I did. I did end up getting them cut though, but I had to recalibrate the machine and everything, which I didn't know how to do, and now I do. So that is good. And that's it. That's it. So I still have all of this. So I think probably I'm just going to keep using it. Just, I don't, as of this moment, this filming, I don't see the need to go buy another one. But if I did, I really like this B6 size. I do have an A5 bullet journal. You know, it's got the hard cover, but it's A5 and it's just a little bigger. But I have it, so I'm like, maybe I need to use it. Maybe I'll use it as my notes, my note-taking. Just, you know, like my trash book. But it's such a nice book. It's hard to just use that as like I would my spiral. And last, so this was also an everyday carry. So I used both of these at the same time as my everyday carry. They both were always in my bag. The other stayed home. Sometimes the other one would come with me, but mostly these. Because this was how I was keeping track of my health and doctor's appointments and that kind of thing at the beginning of the year. It evolved as the year went on. And then this one, I did have my weeklies in here and all my reference things. So these were the two that came with me. I've already taken those inserts out, so it's not going to be helpful to do a flip through until I have it all set up for 2022. But this is my archive binder. I've been carrying it. I was carrying it in this one, but now I have my 22 Hobonichi in there. So this was just inside the clear cover because I liked it. I like being creative sometimes and just sticking stickers in various places. I did set up my goals here because this was going to be for health tracking, which I did track my health. I wouldn't say that I reached all my goals, but I improved. My health improved for the most part. This is how I was just trying to track a lot of things. And I did really well until about here. And then I just fell off the tracking. And honestly, I don't even know why. Oh, yes, I do. I went out of town and I got off my routine. Well, I started a little bit here too. Honestly, I don't know. But this is what I was using to track a whole host of things. Obviously, at the beginning of the year, I was having a lot of medical issues. They started to resolve some. I probably also forgot a couple of days, but they did start getting better, as you can see, and thinning out and narrowing. And I think probably because things were generally doing better than they had at the beginning, I just wasn't as aware because I do deal with a chronic pain, neurological issues. And so when things are flaring up, I'm hypersensitive and hyper aware, so I'm tracking it. And then as the year, I got better. I still had things, and I probably wrote them down like dailies on the day, but just didn't come back and fill it in because I got off the habit, right? If something isn't routine, we don't do it. And I had this at the beginning of the year, sitting right next to my coffee pot. And you know, I never break the habit of having coffee. So every morning I would get up, and as I would make my coffee, and then I would sit here and I would update it. And so when that habit changed, and I started carrying this more, then that was probably contributed to that as well. But I love that. Obviously, I have another Hobonichi. I have the tracker. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for this year. Time will tell. And then I did start using this in December last year. I wanted to track, you know, like I said, all those things. I'd seen this idea somewhere, and so I wanted to try it. And again, because it was sitting right next to my coffee pot, I updated it every day. And then at some point, April, May, looks like June, it started falling off. We got some big holes there. Yeah, started falling off. And then looks like I didn't do it all in July. And that makes sense because that's about where this started falling off, right? Yep. So I liked it. It was a lot to do, but it was easier to do all of it when I was looking at this every single morning. Every morning. I'm not sure that I'll do that this year. I don't know. We'll see. I did, so here we are. And I have added things in that were upcoming, but because I have this, I don't even know if I started setting it up for January yet. Nope. That'll be something I'll need to do, is set that over. But we're at this last week of the month where I have this, like I used it last week, and then this week I'm like, am I going to use this? Am I use that? I don't know which one. I'm kind of back and forth and all the things, still trying to figure it out. So, but the way this year started was I was still using a little bit of Christmas colors. Was this? Oh, this was November. So I was going into December. And then I thought, you know, I don't know if I want to use a lot of stickers. I think I just want to write down. So I was writing, you know, what was bothering me health-wise. All my little headache stickers. And then, again, I was writing every day. I was updating these. And then at some point, I just wasn't quite using it that way. And I started wanting to use more stickers. I was playing around with some, made some. And so I'm thinking it was right about March. I was like, is it time for spring yet? Plus, it had been a year since COVID started, and I just was ready for something different. So the sticker game started again, and I had a lot of leftover stickers of things that I just wanted to start using. This was Easter, and I love Victoria Thatcher stickers. And so you can see some of these were hers. This was her, I think. And so this week, or this week right here, she posted that she was not well. She was in the hospital. And so I wanted to be praying for her. So I was really being intentional about keeping her on the front of my mind by using her sticker kits. And keeping her in my prayers. And And then she passed away. So this kit I had planned, I had made, not in her style, but kind of in her style, because she was the first person who I watched make stickers, and she shared them freely, and that's what I used when I first started my sticker journey. So I had made this, and that just happened to be the week, I think, then that she passed away. So the next week I pulled out another one of her sticker kits to use in memory of her. So this, really lots of stickers. There was not really a lot of planning. It was more of back planning and documenting and memory keeping. I would set it up at the beginning of the week and then decorate. Wanted to maybe stamp, but that just didn't turn out. I'm sure there are people that can do a better job with stamping in their Hobonichi, but I couldn't make it work. So that was probably the last time I stamped in here, honestly. This was another of that sticker kit that I made, kind of in memory of Victoria, and then I shared this in her group as a full size, but I shrunk it down in here. Playing around with some more ideas. I think this template came from Mo at 5/16. I was just playing around with designing things, or not, and then just using all kinds of things. All kinds of sticker sets, and I would mix and match things just because I have a lot that I haven't used, so I wanted to try to start using those up. Leftovers from before. So you can see I was just having a lot of fun. This was really at the end of the week, I would set up for the next week, and then I would go in and fill in. And then usually, let's see what I have here. Oh yeah, this must have been Miss Kansas week. So I designed this kit. Just kind of using up some stuff. I had these left over. I just mix and match them with some washi. This one I designed with some artwork that I bought, and again, kind of just playing around. I thought about putting it on my Etsy, but then I didn't. Just so that's really, let's see, what's the rest of this? Since we're doing a flip through, we'll just finish it up. Again, more just using up stuff. I was trying to, so at some point this year, I reorganized my sticker organization. And as I was going through that, I was like, I have so many unused stickers, like partial kits left over and that kind of thing. So I just wanted to start using them. And I have more washi tape than I need because I don't use washi that often. So I'm like, try to use more washi. But I have a lot of fun, doing this. And I can look at a spread and know exactly what was going on that week. This was our 150th birthday celebration. It was a lot of fun. More of that kit that I didn't use up. I was just still trying to figure it out. Hodgepodgery. This was another pageant week. So I had designed this one myself. Oh yeah, then I got into a spirit of, let me design all my weekly kits for my Hobonichi. So this was, must have been the beginning of October. Feels very October to me. This was a kit that I got from somewhere, and I'd had since the solar eclipse of 2017 was this kit, and I never used it. So I told myself I was going to use it. We must have had a full moon this week. Yes, we did. Oh yeah, the night I didn't sleep. So I finally went to bed at like 2 in the morning. Or not 2 in the morning, 6 in the morning. So then I did sleep late. Another one, this one I designed. Just having fun, trying new things with, you know, trying to make my own washi strips. So it was kind of fun, just a different feel. And then November. So this felt like November colors to me. And then I did not plan. I did not have any creative time these couple of weeks. And it's blank. And I thought about going back and filling it in, but then I thought, you know, it just is a reminder. Sometimes life gets busy, and it's okay if the pages are blank. And I was using this, like, I think I even took this out of my purse, and I was just using this one. So then I said, well, I better pull it back out again. I ordered another Hobonichi. That's what I had done. Somewhere at the beginning of December, I ordered another one. We were out of town this week. And then I came back and I said, oh, should I go back and redecorate this? I may still, I may not. I said, well, I better get back to using it. I just bought myself a new one. So I actually carried this around and was using it for my kind of task list. Work has kind of started slowing down. It's the end of the year. Obviously it's holiday, so I'm not working as much, but I still need something, you know, to write down a couple of appointments. And this week, so here we are, I'm bouncing between all the different planners, trying to figure out how I want to use them for next year, kind of playing around with using these little flags, deciding if I wanted to use them next year, should I say, or if I wanted to resize them. So they're this size right now. I was thinking about doubling them and making them this wide. Ultimately I decided to keep using them because I don't really need to print out anymore. I have a lot of these this size, so I'm gonna make myself use them. I'm gonna use this kind of for some habits for this year, so I'm back to being able to work out again. So that's the goal, and that's it. I rarely use my note pages. That's kind of a goal. I do want to use them more next year. I pulled it out when I thought of it in May, and I used this. I did keep these stickers in here, and I had it in my previous one also, what percentage I would shrink her full-size kits to fit in the Hobonichi. So that's why I kept them there as reference. That's it. Didn't use the back for anything. So I also wonder, do I want to get a mega? No, because I don't use the paper. But then I try to justify, but if I had a mega, then I would use it. Ultimately, I decided to just get another regular Weeks. In the back here, I have several pencil boards. I don't, some clear ones. Thought about putting some stickers on there. I haven't yet. Lauren Phelps design, just some fun leftover that I had cut off a piece in there, and it just happened to fit perfectly. This is one I laminated. I think probably I made this one first before those. And Lauren Phelps design. That's it. And then this this little cover I've had for a couple of years. This was a Planner Society cover, and I just use it as an archive. So this will go on the shelf, and I'll use this one. But this and this and how I'm using all of this will have to be for another video because this has gotten so long. So if you've hung in with me, thank you. Please leave a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, all the things. And if you have a YouTube channel, if you are setting up your planner, or if you have a video you've already posted, please drop that in the comments so that I can go watch it. I would love to see what you're doing, how you're doing it. You know, I love learning from other people. So thank you, and I will see you on the next video.